Taoiseach, 6 years ago, in this November, a referendum was put to the people about children. We were told it was historic, and we were told its aim was to put a child-centred approach to protecting all children. Another aim was to support families who are struggling rather than allow crisis situations to develop. Part of the Article 42A inserted recognised that all children have rights and pledges to those rights by law. However, on the ground, that admirable intent has not been reached 6 years later. The assessment of need for children with disabilities is not being met. The 2005 Disability Act commits that an assessment should be done within 3 months of it being requested. However, the latest figures supplied to my colleague, Deputy Margaret Murphy O'Mahony, and to RT News illustrate that there are over 3,850 children with suspected disabilities that have still not had that assessment carried out. Minister Fianna announced in 2016 that 128 disability care teams will be put in place and that they alone would resolve the waiting times. In 2018, there was only 56 of those teams in place, and in fact, the waiting lists have grown longer. There are 37,229 people across the country waiting for speech and language therapy waiting lists. 15,000 of these are waiting for that crucial first assessment. A further 7,894 are waiting for their first treatment, and 14,300 are waiting for further therapy. Separately, there is 31,000 waiting for occupational therapy, and over half of these are children waiting for a first assessment, over 16,800. And over 6,000 of these 16,000 are waiting longer than 1 year for the really crucial first assessment. You can imagine, Taoiseach, this is causing huge frustration and anger and worry for parents and for families. Where is the child-centred approach promised in 2012? For those who can afford it, they're paying hundreds of euros just to get a diagnosis. And even in the public system, there are inconsistencies in the treatment across the country when you get it. Taoiseach, how can a government stand over this inaction and this lack of delivery in any improvement for waiting times under the diagnosis under the Disability Act? Do you believe this situation is defensible? Do you believe it's acceptable? And what plans have you as Taoiseach in place to ensure that these waiting lists get priority?
Thank you, Deputy. Taoiseach Rash.
Taoiseach, do you get it? Do you actually get what it's like for parents and for children who are waiting on those lists? You speak about standard operating procedures. You speak about new rules for the pre-disability assessment. Do you actually get what it's like to be somebody who's waiting on a list over the year, 7,000 for an initial OT assessment before they actually start the treatment? Do you get what it's like to be one of the 15,000 children waiting for the first assessment for speech and language therapy? Early intervention is crucial and key to getting a positive pathway to this, and you're speaking about standard operating procedures and technical things. You don't get what it's like for parents. You don't get what it's like for children that are in this situation. We have a Minister of State for Disabilities who's known for leaking out of cabinet meetings. But he is actually the captain of the disability ship in this country, and he is not delivering. In fact, as long as he remains captain of that ship is the Titanic. It's time, Taoiseach, that you took charge and you gave some hope to those 37,000 children waiting for speech and language therapy, to the 31,000 waiting for OT, and stop talking about standard operating procedures and start talking about people.
Taoiseach.